My dear students of the secondary school third year, welcome back to our TV educational English program. Today, my dear friends, we are going to deal with The Prisoner of Zenda, Chapter 6, Part 1. But first, my dear friends, let me welcome my colleague, Ms. Jermeen Baha. Welcome, Ms. Jermeen.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Dear students, welcome to a new episode of your English program. Today you are going to discuss more details and more questions about Prisoner of Zenda, Chapter 6, Part 1. And now we are going to start with the summary.
But my dear friends, let me remind you what happened in Chapter 5. Prisoner of Zenda, Chapter 5, Rudolf Rassendyll went to the summer house to meet Antoinette Dumouba. She told him about Michael's plan, how to get rid of him. Rudolf Rassendyll went to Princess Flavia to tell her about his going to Zenda to rescue the king. Sept had a ball for Princess Flavia and Rudolf Rassendyll. In this ball, it was supposed that Rudolf Rassendyll asked Princess Flavia to marry him. But Rudolf Rassendyll didn't do that. Rudolf Rassendyll asked the Marshal to keep the future of Ruritania safe. And Rudolf Rassendyll in this chapter want to go to Zenda to rescue the king. And let's start, my dear friends. The Prisoner of Zenda, Chapter 6, Part A.
Rassendyll, Sept, and Fritz decided to make a move against Michael. Rassendyll trusted Marshal Strachans to keep the future of Ruritania safe.
Strachans promised Rassendyll that he would protect Princess Flavia from the Duke. Michael's mother was not royal, and he could only legally become king if he married the princess.
Rassendyll wrote down some orders for Marshal Strachans, who noticed that Rassendyll's writing was different from the king's writing.
Rassendyll said that his writing was different because his finger still hurt, but the truth was that he was not real king.
Then Rassendyll visited Flavia to tell her that he was leaving Stralsau to go hunting.
Flavia blamed Rassendyll for going hunting instead of doing his duties in the capital.
Rassendyll told Flavia that he was going to hunt Michael.
The princess was worried because that was very dangerous. Rassendyll told Flavia that if he didn't come back from Zenda, she must become the queen of Ruritania. Flavia promised to do whatever was right for Ruritania.
Rassendyll, Sept, Fritz, and a large party of servants and 10 brave and strong gentlemen stayed at a country house, Thalenheim, which belonged to a relative of Fritz.
Rassendyll told his men that Michael had tried to kill him and that a good friend of the king's was held prisoner in the castle, and it was their job, their duty, to set him free.
3 of Michael's famous 6 men visited Rassendyll. The youngest and strongest of the 3 was Rubelt Henso.
Robert told Rassendyll that the Duke and many of his servants had a dangerous illness, so it was best if Rassendyll and his men stayed away. طبعا راسندل عارف ان ديوك مايكل مش عيان ولا حاجه، بس دي تعليله ان رودولف ما يروحش كاسل اوف زندا عشان ما يشوفش الملك هناك.
Rassendyll knew that Robert was lying.
Rassendyll and friends went to the inn where Rassendyll had stayed on his first night in Ruritania.
The innkeeper's daughter recognized Rassendyll.
She apologized to him for speaking badly about him when he had stayed at the inn before. معتقدة ان هو الملك. as she thought he was the real king.
Rassendyll said he would forgive her if she promised to help him.
Rassendyll asked the innkeeper's daughter to bring her friend Johann to the country house, and the daughter agreed.
Then Rassendyll and Fritz returned to Thalhenham.
Sabt told Rassendyll about an accident that happened to Berlinston, who was one of Rassendyll's men. He went out alone in the woods. He saw 3 men in the trees, and one of them shot him in the arm.
It was clear that Michael's men were waiting for a chance to kill Rassendyll.
The next day, Robert, who visited Thalhenham alone, he had a message from Michael for Rassendyll. ده العرض الثاني اللي هيعمله ديوك مايكل لراسندل.
The Duke offered Rassendyll a safe journey to the border and 1,000,000 gold pieces, but Rassendyll refused the offer.
Now, my dear friends, answer the following questions. Who did the King Rassendyll trust to keep the future of Ruritania safe?
He trusted Marshal Strakens.
Why did Rassendyll, Sabt, and Fritz decide to make a move against Michael?
They decided so because the king was imprisoned and they wanted to save him. بحب أفكركم بنقطة مهمة في الجزئية دي. احنا اتكلمنا قبل كده انه كل يوم بيعدي على كينج رودولف في السجن في الكاسل اوف زين.
illustrate. هو طبعا بيجي لي جمله يجي يقول لي مثلا اشرح فسر، فهنا بقول لي illustrate يعني فسر الجمله اللي بتقول روبرت هانسون ده told راسندل، قال لراسندل عن مايكلز نيو اوفر. ممكن السؤال يجي بطريقه ثانيه مباشر جدا
يكون اذكى من التاني. فرودولف بمساعده فريدز قرر ان هو ياخد خطوه استباقيه ويفكروا في بلان ان هم يردوا الشر بتاع بلاك مايكل ويحاولوا ان هم ينقذوا الكينج فور ذا سكند تايم. نلاحظ في الجزء ده انه قد كده سابت وفريدز مع رودولف كانوا very loyal servants to the king. كل واحد فيهم كان مستعد يضحي بحياته to save the king، وكانوا طبعا بيفكروا يعني together في different plans to save the king. في الشابتر ده احنا اتكلمنا كمان على دور فلافيا وازاي هي بالرغم انه الطلب كان غريب جدا من رودولف ان هو بيقول لها لو انا ما ظهرتش في خلال 3 ايام او ما رجعتش من الهانتنج تريب اللي انا طالعها في خلال 3 ايام you are going to be the queen of Ruritania, and she accepted this order and she promised to fulfill it till the end.
كمان يا مس جيرمين كمان في الشابتر ده حصل السكند اوفر، العرض الثاني اللي المفروض كان فيه العرض الاولاني ده كان حصل في السمر هاوس. يبقى لما يجي سؤال يقول لي ايه العرض اللي عرضه اللي اتعرض على رودولف راسندل ان ذا سمر هاوس هيختلف عن العرض اللي اتعرض على رودولف راسندل ان ذا كانتري هاوس اللي هو تيرلنهام.
King if he marries the princess. Who said this to whom?
Rudolf Rassendyll said this to Marshal Strakens. أنا ممكن أقول مارشال ستراكنز وممكن أقول ذا مارشال، يعني أجيب الذا لأن الذا بتيجي قبل الألقاب طبعا بس من غير الاسم. Who are they talking about؟ بيتكلموا عن مين؟
They are talking about Duke Michael.
Who did Princess Flavia want to marry؟ هي عايزة تتجوز مين؟
She wanted to marry Rudolf Elfberg.
باعتبار ان هو اللي يبقى ملك، يعني she wanted to marry the king. هي عايزه هي لان هي حياتها كلها مكرسه للمملكه، مش عشان بس ان هي just to love because she loved Rudolf Elfberg، لا ده هي كمان بتحبه علشان هو اللي يبقى ملك.
The writing is a little different from your usually. I hope people know it's a real order from the king.
يبقى لازم الرايتنج يكون مهم ليه؟ يبقى زي الخط بتاعك عشان الكوتيشن الثاني ده I hope people know that it's a real order from the king. Who said this to whom?
Marshal Strakens said this to King Rassendyll.
What does the speaker think? It's the reason that the handwriting is different. أو سؤال بطريقة ثانية what is the real reason?
He thinks the reason is that Rassendyll's finger was injured. But the real reason is that Rudolf Rassendyll is not the real king.
يعني معنى كده ان هو لما بيقول انا خطي انا لسه ما زال صباعي متعور، معنى كده ان ده ان اكسكيوز، يعني هو بيعلل او بيعلل ذا مارشال ان الخط مختلف علشان ما زال صباعه لسه hurt him بيأذيه، لكن في الحقيقه هو الخط مختلف ليه؟ لان هي
Because he's not the real king.
the real king.
ويعني رودولف راسنديل كمان شاطر جدا في
عنده
في البريتنس
فعلا
في البريتنس، يعني كل موقف بيقع فيه بيقدر انه يخرج منه بسهوله جدا، وبيتصنع انه عادي او ده خطأ او سهو طبيعي، يعني هو عنده شويه
بيقدر يخرج من الموقف كويس قوي.
he's a good actor يعني.
Why is it important that the handwriting be the same؟ لازم يكون الخط نفس الخط ليه؟ هو طبعا مارشال قال كده so that people will know that it's a real order from the king.
So, you'd prefer to hunt animals than do your duties in the capital. Who said this to whom?
طبعا قال الكلام ده برنسيس فلافيا said this to رودولف راسندل. هو انت بتفضل انك تروح انك تروح تصطاد وتسيب المهام بتاعتك اللي في البلد؟
When did the person say this?
The day after the ball، في اليوم اللي بعد الحفلة الموسيقية، when رودولف راسندل was saying goodbye to go to Zenda to hunt Michael.
What animal was Rudolf Rassendyll going to hunt?
طبعا he was going to hunt Duke Michael.
If I don't come back, you must become queen for me.
Who said this to whom?
Rudolf Rassendyll said this to Princess Flavia.
Where was the speaker going and why?
He was going to Zenda to save King Rudolf Elfberg, who was held prisoner at the castle of Zenda.
Who would help that person to become queen?
Of course, Marshal Strakens would. You are the king. I remembered you when you stayed with us. I told my mother you weren't really an Englishman and that you were the king. I'm sorry if we said anything bad when you stayed with us.
Who said this to whom? The hotel's owner, daughter, said this to Rudolf Rassendyll.
Where was this said?
It was said at the hotel where Rassendyll spent his first night in Rutania.
Why did the speaker go back to that place?
He went there to ask the hotel owner's daughter to bring Johann because he wanted Johann to work as a spy for him.
If you do not know how to address the king, my brother must find another messenger.
جملة جميلة جدا من رودولف راسندل، وهو هنا عاوز يقول لروبرت انت بتكلمني مش عشان ان انا رودولف راسندل، انا وانت عارفين ان انا مش ملك، بس لازم تكلمني بصيغة ملك، ما دام انا بتعامل كملك لازم تكلمني كملك. فبقول له if you don't know how to address the king، لو مش عارف ازاي تخاطب الملك لازم اخويا يبعت واحد يخاطبني، لازم واحد تاني يجي يخاطبني كملك. طبعا ده اعتزاز بالشخصية بتاعته، وان هو شخصيته متفردة حتى في التعامل مع اعدائه اللي هو روبرت.
يعني هو بيحاول يوصل له حتى شك بنفسه، يعني هو بيقول له انا I am the king، هو لسه مكمل في القضية او الفكرة اللي احنا بنتكلم فيها of pretense، يعني بتهيألي هو بيحاول حتى يشكك مايكلز مان في نفسهم، يعني if he was really the real king or not، يعني هو بيخليهم يفكروا كده am I the real king or not.
تمام. Who said this to who؟ مين اللي قال الكوتيشن ده؟
He said this to Robert Hanso.
Where were they?
They were at the country house that belonged to a relative of Fritz.
Why did he say this?
He said this because Robert spoke to him rudely as he didn't address him as a king. يعني he spoke with disrespect.
عشان كده روبرت بيقول له why do you continue to pretend؟ هو انت بتكمل ليه تمثل علينا ليه ان انت الملك يعني؟ We all know who you are. احنا كلنا عارفين ان انت مش ملك. فهو طبعا قال له لا، انت لازم تكلمني كملك. السؤال بقى who said this to whom؟ كلمة انت ليه بتكمل تمثل انك ملك يعني؟ اللي قال مين ده؟
Robert Henso said this to Rudolf Rassendyll.
Why did the speaker say this?
He said this because Rassendyll wanted Robert to address him as a king.
What was the purpose of the speaker's visit?
Robert brought a message from Michael to Rassendyll. Michael offered Rassendyll a safe journey to the border and 1,000,000 gold pieces. As we mentioned before, this is the second offer.
But you can't say that in public, can you? Because then people would know you have kidnapped the king. صح أنا مش الملك، بس ما تقدروش تقولوا كده على الملأ إن أنا مش الملك، لأن الناس هتعرف إن أنتوا اللي خطفت الملك. طبعا ده اللي قال الكلام ده مين لمين؟ Who said this to whom?
Rudolf Rassendyll said this to Robert Henso.
What couldn't those people say in public? ليه ما يقدروش؟ إيه اللي ما يقدروش يقولوه في الملأ؟
They couldn't say that Rudolf Rassendyll wasn't the real king.
What was the only way for Michael to become king?
His only way was to kill the king and Rudolf Rassendyll and marry Princess Flavia.
طبعا ما ينفعش هو يبقى ملك والملك الحقيقي موجود، وما ينفعش هو يبقى ملك وراسندل عايش، وما ينفعش كمان يبقى ملك حتى لو دول ماتوا الا اذا ماري برنسس فلافيا. يعني لازم لازم التركيبه دي كلها تبقى كامله. تشوف كمان you know the game is not finished yet. انتوا عارفين ان اللعبه لسه ما خلصتش. لعبه ان انا بمثل ملك. And until it is, I will choose my own name. أنا هختار الاسم بتاعي. Who said this to whom?
Rudolf Rassendyll said this to Robert Henso.
When was this said?
This was said when Robert went to see Rudolf Rassendyll at Talenheim to give him a message from Michael.
Why did the speaker say the game hasn't finished?
Robert asked Rudolf Rassendyll to stop pretending that he was the king, as everybody knew who he was. Rudolf believed that Michael couldn't say in public that Rudolf Rassendyll wasn't the king, as people would know then that he had kidnapped the king.
The Duke offers you more than I would. ديوك مايكل عرض عليك أكتر مما أنا متوقع يعني. He offers you a safe journey to the border. معنى كده إن اللي بيتكلم ده معترض على العرض ده. He offers you a safe journey to the border and 1,000,000 gold pieces. Who said this to whom?
Robert Henso said this to Rudolf Rassendyll.
Why did the Duke want that person to leave the country?
He wanted him to leave the country so that he could become king after getting rid of the king.
Did the addressed person accept or refuse the offer?
He refused the offer. Tell the Duke that I refuse his generous offer. Who is his prisoner, by the way?
Who said this to whom?
Rudolf Rassendyll said this to Robert Henso.
What was that offer the speaker refused?
Duke Michael offered Rassendyll a safe journey to the border and 1,000,000 gold pieces.
Who was the prisoner and where was he? مين هو البريزنر وهو موجود فين المسجون؟
The prisoner was King Rudolf Elfberg, and he was imprisoned at the castle of Zenda.
وشوفوا في الحوار بتاعه لما بقول له في الآخر خالص how was أو how is the prisoner. السجين بتاعنا أخباره إيه عندكم؟ رغم إنه كان قبل كده بيكلمه بيقول له إيه؟ لازم تكلمني كملك. رجع تاني بعد ما قال له لازم تكلمني كملك ولازم أخويا يبعت واحد إزاي يخاطبني كملك، رجع قال له وأخبار المسجون بتاعكم إيه؟ يعني مغاورة في حوار جميل جدا جدا اللي حصل بين روبرت هانسون وبين رودولف راسندل.
هو كمان عاوز يأكد له انه كل البلانز اللي انتم ممكن تكونوا بتفكروا فيها انا كمان برضو يعني اعرف ان انا اخد يعني اكشن سريع ورد فعل مناسب to stop any plan to harm the king.
وعشان كده بنقول للطلبة يا ريت ما تقروش السمري بس، يا ريت تقروا التكست، هتستمتعوا جدا جدا لما تقروا التكست
حقيقي.
والحوار الموجود بين الابطال بتوعنا وبين الشخصيات اللي عندنا.
And by the end of these questions, dear students, we have also reached the end of our episode for today. We hope that you have enjoyed it and benefit from it.
Thank you, my dear friends. We come to the end of this episode for today. I'd like to remind you, try to send any questions you want on our website on the Facebook. Thank you and goodbye.